Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on your timeline. Now, today I'm interested in something about the president, and it comes with a relief when recently announced that he has no intention of changing the constitution. And this is our prayer, because now if a constitution is going to be changed, then we do not know exactly what will happen to many other things, including the presidential term. The president spoke, indicating that he has no idea about the aspect of changing the constitution. If anybody wanted to expand the presidential term, he would be the first to reject it. Therefore, we hope it's right and that he's giving the right information, given that we have been used to him as natenga, napanga, na tutafanya. So let's listen to the video in which he talked to Kenyans, and then we can make comments and judge. Do you think he's being genuine? Is he being pushed by the pressure that has been in the country of late, or what has made him speak?
Everybody is free to say everything they want to say, but I also want to say that while enjoying that freedom, and I will not ask anybody not to say whatever they want to say, but on matters changing the constitution, I want to tell you that the discussion on changing the constitution for parochial, selfish, personal matters is no space to go. As president, I will not participate in mutilating the constitution for purposes of serving selfish, personal, parochial interests. The same way we opposed BBI, because it was meant to achieve selfish, parochial, personal interests. We will.
There is no doubt our president speaks smiling and, of course, using the hand to communicate. Now, what do you think from the smile and the communication he's giving here? Now, he says parochial, personal reasons, the same reason they rejected BBI. Do you remember why BBI was rejected? Because for me, I just remember during that time, it's about orange, it's about, it was all about that. Nobody was so clear about why it's being rejected or being supported. Now, let's consider the changes they're talking about here, the personal changes. Many people had indicated the presidential term was to be increased to allow President RUTO to rule for as many years as possible. The other thing, it was about the regions and what was to happen to that, allocation of funds, and so many other things that people are speculating would change. Now, many people also have indicated the reason why they had to push Gachagua out, it's as a result of his opposition to these changes. Now, the president has come out told us that he is not after that. How true is whatever he's saying here? So let's keep listening and see whether whatever he's sharing here, and let's read the body language and what he says too, and let's also research more into what is being indicated, because after all, it's like the constitution has been, worked against us in one way or another. Currently, when you look at the cases in court, we are seeing Koome is not there, but the vice is taking care of that. We've also seen other changes, such as the impeachment process, which is rushed, and we've seen so many other things like the budgetary and all that. And adjustments have been so many, including health from NHIF to SHA, the way to award, funds to students in the university. And so we are wondering, how true is our president? Let's continue listening.
Oppose any move to change the constitution, I will be at the front to say no to any change of the constitution, to change term limit, to change things that benefit individuals. Here, that is unnecessary, that is uncalled for, and it is an exercise in futility because it will not happen. And
people are not sure why the president was saying this. Maybe those who did not hear some information that came in, I think it was as early as March, yeah, when a great investor, an Asian, Raval, did you hear what he said? So in the news, it came out that he had indicated the president should be in power for over 25 years, you know, an outrageous statement that can actually shake a country. And I think he was coming in to say that because our president has some love for Asians. Remember the Adani deal and much more. So let's look at this and see what this man says and why people began saying so. But I don't know. I hope there is nothing under the carpet that is being swept. Then it will come out later when we are either not too keen to hear or watch out. Because after all, there was no plan. We have never heard of a country which sells an airport. It's selling an is it electricity? Because Ketroko, that is. And then selling KICC. And then health is being affected and such things. It has never happened. So when we look at this, then we wonder, are we being played tricks on? Yeah, so let's see what the Asian man said, and then we can also make comments so that we understand why the president said this recently on 24th.
Rais yetu iko hapa na iko na furaha. Liko anashindwa na hiyo weather, lakini mzee kushajaribu sababu ya nini kukuja hapa hata na barabara. He loves us so much, he loves this country so much that especially myself, I have no words to say thank you to him. God gives him 100 years of life.
So guys, before you can get the real part where he broke that aspect of ruling, have you read The Samaritan, by the way? The Samaritan has a leader who is equal to the president, and that is Mayor Mosi. Mayor Mosi attends a meeting in a school. They are launching a Samaritan app, an app that is for the people coming in to save a nation from corrupt aspects. Yeah, it's going to create transparency in everything, including logistics into tendering and giving information about poor environmental situations. And anything else that is done under the carpet will come out. So Mayor Mosi goes to a school and a skit is performed by the students. That is Alvita and Montano before the mentor, who is Madame Nicole. And there is there is Kamona. There is all other leaders from the mayorship. So what happens? He hears the students saying maybe the past and future is bleak. But then another student comes on, that is Alvita, and says the future is bright. Why? There are all sorts of robots, and we are going to have changes even in how things will be done, and people will live for many, many years. Now, that is the only point that Mayor Mosi liked. Now, how about this? I was watching that video, and of course, the president is so happy to hear what was indicated there. So let's continue to listen now and get to the truth of the matter. The reason why people began to lament.
I wish that we have this president for at least for 25 years. Mali angini iko miaka mingi sana. So if we have this ichi tabadlisha.
Oh, so did you hear that? If I were the Kotu chair, what would I say? What is he saying? You know, I'm trying to restrain myself. Anyway, I don't have to do that. But you heard that, okay? So remember, in Kenya, we got to this system from a long journey, as early as 1990. Then by 1992, we had multi-party. From the Constitution A part, whereby people are demanding that we don't have to have a president, you know, ruling for so many years. Remember the Moi regime? Now, we have come far from there. We've had already Moi got out, then we saw Mwai Kibaki coming in, we've seen Uhuru, and now we have Ruto. Then now, why should we go back to that? I don't know whether this man was sober, or was he just trying to please? Remember, the president has gone there to his company in West Pokot. They were, launching his company. So I don't know whether he said as a joke or what. So let's listen to a news anchor explain to us much about the history of Kenya.
Presidential term limits in Kenya are a controversial subject, with the struggle for reforms in Kenya for decades revolving around the quest to introduce term limits for the president. A struggle that bore fruit in 1991 when the contentious Section 2A of then Constitution was repealed, paving the way for the reintroduction of multi-party system of governance in 1992. Subsequent pre-election reforms introduced a 5-year term limit for the president, a practice that has been there for the last 30 years. But in a remark that could well be inadvertent, businessman Raval appears to have triggered a constitutional quarrel.
Remember, when something is told as a joke, there are those who are ready to clap, yeah? The monkeys in the forest have the neighbors, and of course the gorillas and what have you will join in the dance. So that's what happened immediately with Kosing, a lawmaker, backing up what had been said by this businessman. So it became something that was barbaric, but it was already backed up, and you can never know something that could trigger. They say power. What does power do? I hope you know. And what does absolute power do? So let's just listen to what Kosing says, and we'll end at that. But we hope the president, as he said recently, it has cleared the airs, and of course, let's not be cheated.
Wazungu sijui wameenda wapi, hakuna mtu anasaidia hospitali. Your Excellency, if you take over that one, hata Mungu atasaidia wewe na utaishi. Na mimi nafikiri hiyo sio mwaka 25, waje tubadilishe katiba. Waje tubadilishe katiba. Kwani iko nini? Bwana asifiwe.
Okup also had said the same sentiment somewhere, if you can recall. So this is something that actually has to be defended, because if people have walked for a long journey and they're almost arriving, they shouldn't be taken back. Anyway, if you have not subscribed to this channel, consider subscribing to it and continue viewing my videos. In the next video, we'll be looking more into the aspect of Kindiki and Gachagua.